Well, hello, this is Karen Zoe Lee, and you're listening to Lotus Moon Productions. Welcome to the Wrastlin Wrantz Project. Whatever the promotion, we're here to learn and discuss. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 45 minutes of wrestling discussion with your host, Shugo Hanasaki.
Welcome back to another Wrastlin Wrantz episode. This is our second episode this week. I guess I'm making up for lost time, but honestly, with so much wrestling that took place over the weekend, I don't think there's enough time to truly cover it all. But that's okay. It leaves us full of memories and history. Over the weekend, we had Ring of Honor put on their SuperCard of Honor after Tony Khan, who owns AEW, purchased Ring of Honor. Honor seems to be the word around here. It was an incredible show, and we'll be diving into that for sure. On the weekend, we had WrestleMania 38, Night 1 and Night 2. And just before WrestleMania, we had NXT Stand&Deliver. And for you other fans out there, I know there was GCW, there was Impact, there was other indie events going on, there was WrestleCon. It was just an absolute wrestling powerful week. I don't even know what to call it. In WWE's words, they would say stupendous, but I rise above that. But on our last episode, I spoke to the wonderful Kat from Queen's Takeover podcast that I highly recommend checking out. She experienced WrestleMania 38 in person, and we dove right into her experiences and our favorite moments. But today, I'm back once again with a returning guest. He's been on my show a few times, and I'm happy to welcome him back. So without further ado, please help me welcome Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. How's it going today, bud?
What's going on, Cody? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm in here, man. I'm ready to talk some pro wrestling from this wonderful overload of wrestling we had this past weekend.
Yeah, we were definitely graced as fans. There was a little bit of everything for everyone. Pick a promotion and somebody was happy. So I mean that's at the end of the day. But I know you and I talked about Ring of Honor before we came on air here. So I thought that we'd dive into Ring of Honor because on the last podcast, I dove right into WrestleMania, and I don't mind talking about NXT. I don't mind talking about WrestleMania. I don't mind talking about Rampage or AEW, whatever. But right now, Ring of Honor, I got to get it out. What did you think, man? Friday night, I thought it was incredible.
I thought it was a really good card, and it kind of reset the Ring of Honor brand, to be honest. Going back, I guess, into my history with it, Ring of Honor is something I've enjoyed since about 2004 on a consistent basis. I'm from the era of Samoa Joe as the world champ, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, the Briscoes in the tag division. The names go on and on and on. I even loved when the Bucks came there, when we had Kevin Steen, El Generico. You guys know the old school names. They've all been taken and dispersed. My first Ring of Honor. Tyler Black. I was just going to mention he was the Ring of Honor world champ when I first went to my first event. I think that was when like Cornette was in charge and they were running shows. So I got to meet him one time, and things are gravy. But lately, Ring of Honor has felt kind of down in the dumps, we'll say. Like, it feels like WWE was kind of cherry picking their talent slowly but surely, and then AEW comes in. They set the wrestling world on fire, and the thing that they had in their pocket were the Bullet Club and the New Japan relationship. They ran that MSG show. You had different things happening with that. You had like guys like Okada coming over. The New Japan talent working with the Ring of Honor talent worked, and you had the Bucks and Omega and Bullet Club at the helm. But once AEW got started and that all got taken away, I felt like Ring of Honor lost a lot of its lust that everybody had for it. Like, oh, we could see the Bucks. Oh, we could see these guys. And it disappeared. And then when they announced that big, like, we're shutting down, but we're going to close down and reopen, that is wrestling talk for it's over. I don't care what you say when you hear it. I've been around long enough. I feel like it's over. And we found out Tony Khan bought it, and this is what we got. So from something that I was down in the dumps about, this is the first time I felt very excited to watch it. Like, their last event I watched, but it was kind of with like a tear in my eye. Like, man, this is probably it. This is over.
Yeah, Ring of Honor certainly set up a lot of ways for the amount of stuff that came out of Ring of Honor over the last 15 years at least is insane. The wrestlers that you've named, and again, we could be here all day listening wrestlers who have come out of Ring of Honor, who have gone on to various other promotions. But yeah, over the pandemic, it really felt like Ring of Honor was on its last leg, and they were doing everything they possibly could to keep it up. And then they announced their closure. And then here comes Tony Khan, buys Ring of Honor, and the SuperCard continues because we thought the SuperCard would be it. And then we have a championship unification match. So how things are similar. But I mean, Jonathan Gresham and Bandito, they put on a phenomenal match. I didn't even know who Bandito was. I'm gonna be honest. Like my Ring of Honor lore is here, there, in between certain things. Like I know names, I know certain spots, I've seen certain matches, but I have not like dove into the product itself. But now that Ring of Honor is being guided by Tony Khan and by the show that I saw on Friday, I think I'm going to check it out a lot more often now, because I was really rewarded with that 4-hour show. I mean, we had AEW in there, we had New Japan in there. It was incredible. I mean, for starters, I mean, what was your favorite match on the card?
Oh, easily the tag team match with the Briscoes and FTR. That's a match of the year candidate in my mind. When I'm putting them all together, it's got to be on there. I love the build for it. Think about this. That match was built without any support from AEW or Ring of Honor. It was kind of like a outlaw. They're doing their own type of thing. And people would just be glued to their Twitter. Like the moment it would happen, my DMs would fill up. Like, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And I'm like, another promo? Okay, let's see what they say here. And it was very well done. And before they even like touched each other in the match, you had the chance, like, I won't repeat them on here, but it was Holy Blank. Like, people were going insane for this. And they're two great tag teams, and they've been tag team wrestlers their whole careers mostly. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, the Briscoe brothers have really, really dominated the Ring of Honor scene, being 12-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, which is incredible. When they lost against FTR, I thought, oh, okay, maybe WWE might be interested in them. But I don't think they could handle them. I don't think they could handle the Briscoes. I think the Briscoes are too big for WWE, in my opinion.
I've heard of different companies interested in them.
Oh, yeah? Who was that?
Impact.
Oh, yeah. They would do good there. I think they would do good, real good there.
Yeah, I still think Tony Khan's got to find a way to scoop them up and just say, like, hey, listen, I know this is all about some of the controversial stuff that they've said before, and they've since apologized for it years later. I mean, how long are you going to hold these guys over and not, you know what I mean? They're very talented. I think it's worth giving them a shot, as long as they've shown that they've changed, you know?
Yeah, as long as people have shown that they've changed, I don't mind anybody. And for the most part, I try to focus in on the wrestling and what they deliver and what I've seen there, like putting all the controversies. And I mean, and it's glad that they changed. As long as you show that you can change, then, you know, I can believe in the thing. But if you're just being an asshole outside of wrestling, or like, you know, online and stuff like that your entire life, then I'm not going to care about you in the ring. But they put the work in. They apologize for things that they've said in the past. But you can't deny their unbelievable wrestling, like wrestling talent. It's unbelievable. And with an almost 28-minute, almost 30-minute match between FTR and the Briscoes, I actually thought the Briscoes were going to retain. I really, really did going into that, because I was like, yeah, the Briscoes are Ring of Honor legends. Of course they'll retain. Here comes FTR, winning the AAA titles earlier on, now winning the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. And I also agree that it's definitely one of the top matches of the year. And then the Young Bucks come out. And my God, it was awesome. I was so excited when they came out.
Yeah, that was very well done. I even like I don't know if you watched their little vlog, the BTE thing, but
yeah, I did.
They teleported there.
Yeah.
Same outfits. I was like, foolishness. But it was really cool, and that sets up a match for Dynamite too. We're getting the FTR Bucks too for the AEW or not the AEW, the Ring of Honor and AAA, tag team titles. That's going to be a good match, I think.
Oh my God, it's never. Oh my Lord. And it's on free TV. Like, well, not free TV, but you know what I mean. We all pay for television, but, well, some of us do. but you know what I mean. Like, it's on TV. You're putting these two, like, titans against each other again. And again, two championships on the line. Like, Jesus, like, I don't even know what they're going to do here. Like, I imagine maybe some sort of shenanigans are going to happen. I mean, they don't really do shenanigans very often on AEW, which is good. because then when you do them, they make sense. But FTR just capturing the Ring of Honor World Championships, and then the Young Bucks coming in and getting both AAA and ROH titles a week later, or like even I guess 5 days later, is just, I don't know, a little unbelievable. But no matter the outcome, I know they're gonna put on an insane match on Wednesday.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm looking really forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And another match that I have to shout out to is Jonathan Gresham and Bandito. They went on for, I think it was almost 25 minutes, and they finally figured out who the real undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion is. And I never knew who Bandito was. I had no idea. I was like, oh, Bandit. Okay, cool. All right. This guy's pretty cool.
Now I got to ask you, what did you think of him once you saw him?
Yeah, Bandito. Yeah, he was great. I thought he was excellent in the ring. I was like, where has this guy been? Like, he would fit in with Impact. He'd fit in with AEW. He'd fit in New Japan. I mean, he's probably been there. I don't know where. I haven't really done much research on him, but I was pretty impressed. I mean, Jonathan Gresham has been, he's quite the wrestler too. But I knew who Jonathan Gresham was going in there, but I didn't know who Bandito was. But I was all for watching it, and then having Chavo Guerrero by his side. But then what I really liked in that match, when Chavo tried to cheat, he tried to get the victory, and Bandito was like, "Get out of here! I have more honor than that." And I really liked that. See, there's that word again, honor. But
Bandito's great, man. Like, I think I saw him around All In the first time, and I remember just being amazed by him. And I don't know if you remember that pay-per-view or if you've seen all of it, but the main event, the time is getting cut short. Because they started, I think the match between Okada and who he faced, I won't bring up that person's name on here right now. He faced someone and they went over their time. So Bandito's in the main event, and I believe it was like the Bucks and Kota Ibushi versus Bandito, Rey Mysterio, and I can't remember who their other partner was. But they went in and they tore the house down in like 7 minutes. They were like, forget it, go to the finish. And they just started doing everything crazy. I was like, this Bandito dude is really good. Even under the pressure, he was crushing it.
I never saw that, but that sounds incredible.
Mm-hmm. Go back and watch it. In like 7 minutes, they just go crazy.
Yeah, I certainly will. 7 minutes. That just sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, after the match, after we found out who was the undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion, which is Jonathan Gresham, all of a sudden, Jonathan Gresham starts getting beaten down, and then Samoa Joe makes his return to Ring of Honor, and I lost my shit. Straight up.
Samoa Joe is that guy for me, man. I love Joe.
Yeah, you can't, man. I'm loving Joe. Like I've seen bits and pieces of his Impact career, his TNA career, and I mean all the history that he's had with so many amazing wrestlers. But for him to come back to Ring of Honor, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, Samoa Joe is back in Ring of Honor, and then we get online, Samoa Joe is all elite. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really neat.
He's speaking on Dynamite too.
Yeah, he's going to be on Dynamite, which is just nuts. I mean, it's just been a nuts of a weekend.
Cody, let's frame this for people real quick.
Sure.
Bro, you have CM Punk,
yep,
Bryan Danielson, and Samoa Joe in the same freaking company again in 2022, bro.
Yep.
That's insane to think about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And all I'm thinking about in my head is that I want William Regal to get Samoa Joe to join Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
Like,
because Samoa Joe and William Regal, there's that history with them in NXT, good and bad. And I would just love for Joe to join with William Regal and alongside Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. I think that would be a sweet, because the rumor is that later on down the road they are bringing in those trios titles. I don't know when. But that's the big rumor, and I think Tony hinted at it at some point that he said that at some point it's going to happen. I think it was like something.
I was on that call. He said that he wanted to wait until Kenny was healthy.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. So just imagine Joe, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, manager William Regal being the trios champions.
It could even be Moxley, Danielson, and Yuta.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Speaking of Wheeler Yuta, he defeated Josh Woods to become the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Now, first of all, I've never seen a Pure Championship match before, and I quite liked it. I thought it was quite elegant. It was quite slick. It was. I enjoyed the rules that they had in play. Like I was like, Ring of Honor Pure Championship. What is the Pure? And I was like, oh, okay, old school pure wrestling rules. I get you. I did not see Wheeler Yuta winning that. I didn't, just because of kind of how things have gone on AEW. I just didn't see him getting the championship. But now he does. And I said to my partner, I said, you know what? With how kind of the best friends are mostly Trent has been treating Wheeler Yuta lately, it would be hilarious after he kicked him out of the best friends for Ring of Honor, or for Ring of Honor Pure Championship, or Pure Champion now, Wheeler Yuta, to go to AEW and rub it in Trent's face. And then that could set up a feud. I think that would be pretty cool to have Trent versus Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Championship.
Yeah, that would be interesting, and that could add a different dynamic depending on where they want to show it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would focus on Ring of Honor television or a pay-per-view or something. But yeah, I think there's something there. I mean, they may not do it; they may go a whole other direction, but there's definitely something there. And I was quite impressed. I really was. I wasn't familiar with Josh Woods. But I became familiar, and I was like, damn, this guy's good. Like just the whole night was just really, really good. And then we had Tully Blanchard introduce Brian Cage, who hasn't been on TV since I think October or November. And he's now, and he defeated Ninja Mac, which was a very quick match. I thought it would go a little longer, but Brian Cage, it feels like they're rebuilding him up. They're making him very dominant again. And with everything that happened with Team Taz and everything and his time off TV, it feels like they're building them. They're what's the best word to use here? They're not rebuilding him, but there's a word for it.
Focus maybe. No, it's not the word. But either way, you get my point. They're building him up again, and I'm all for it. I really like this Brian Cage Tully Blanchard dynamic. I think it works. I like the Tully Blanchard Enterprises too. That even plays into the match on the pre-show. He had a new tag team as well.
Yeah, the Gates of Agony, or Agony, which was, I thought was pretty cool. I was like, hey, these two, okay, all right. And so I mean, it's these three dominant guys, and then when they were all in the ring after Brian Cage won, I thought that was pretty cool. They looked like a dominant factor, and Tully Blanchard looked like some like kingpin, like just some small rich kingpin to like these three legendary men. So just the sight of it just looked really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, it should be really good. Like I said, if you would have told me like 2 or 3 months ago that Brian Cage was still going to be around with Tony Khan, I wouldn't have believed you, because I thought he was on his way out.
Yeah.
But this is cool. Like, him buying Ring of Honor, I think could help alleviate some of the problems that Tony Khan has with such an amazing roster. He could spread some of these guys out now. This gives him the opportunity maybe to say, hey, a couple of you guys from the Dark Order, you don't get much TV time. Let's put you over here and we can get you some more.
Exactly.
You know, he's got some different things he can do. I even like I'm sure we're going to get into some more of these matches, but some of the people who got to show off what they could do tonight benefited from being on this Ring of Honor show.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I mean, a shout out to Swerve Strickland and Alex Zane, who absolutely killed it. I thought they put on a really good 10-minute match, almost 12 minutes, I think it was. But it was, I mean, Swerve's house. We all know that.
Swerve's house.
But I think one of my other favorites of the night was Jay Lethal and Lee Moriarty. I thought that was a really, really good match. I mean, Jay Lethal, he's one of those guys that just, I think he's one of those guys kind of like you know, shout out to Charlotte Flair from WWE. I always say that she's got chemistry with everybody, no matter what you think of her. She's got chemistry with every match she goes into. She makes everybody look good when she wrestles with them. And I find Jay Lethal has that same ability where he has chemistry with everybody. It's kind of like Bryan Danielson, you know. He's got that chemistry with everyone. And when you have a skill like that, that's not a skill that's taught, you know. Like, I think that's something natural that you have. And Jay Lethal and and Lee. It was just, I thought it was really good. What do you think?
I like it a lot. Jay Lethal being out there is so. I think a lot of people have to understand Jay Lethal is a staple of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
When Impact let Jay Lethal go, which to me is still mind-boggling to this day, I was like, you got rid of Jay Lethal? You couldn't have gotten rid of 4 or 5 other people at the bottom of the card. You picked someone who was in the middle, close to the top, to get rid of. And I'm like, I guess maybe they needed to save money. But Jay Lethal was the star, and I just couldn't believe it at that time. And that's when he was doing like the Ric Flair and Macho Man impressions. And I'm like, he's really good. I can't believe this. And he goes out there and he becomes a staple of Ring of Honor. He went in, he became the first television and world heavyweight champion for them. He crushed it as a heel. Then he became a babyface and crushed it. The dude can do it all when it comes to his in-ring ability. Now, Lee Moriarty, I think he's the future Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham. And I'm glad he got the opportunity to get in there and mix it up, because I believe he was part of their faction for a while that they had going on. But that's gone to the wayside now. Lee Moriarty is someone who I think could benefit from being over here as well. But Jay Lethal gets the victory, but I couldn't believe how he did it. Like, I put up on Twitter, I was tweeting a lot Friday night, and my one tweet said, "Say it ain't so, Jay. Say it ain't so." He dropped down and gave a low blow to Lee Moriarty, and I was like, man, they were serious when they said that. He was like, something's got to change.
Yeah, he said something on, what is it, Rampage or Dynamite? He had a backstage segment, and he said he's going to beat him at whatever he can do. Whatever he has to do, whether he's happy about it or not, he's going to go through with it. And he went full on heel.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, with all the promo packages that were shown, by the way, before each match, that really, really helped. Like, again, I went into this not knowing like very much, and I had no idea that Moriarty and Lethal were 1-1. So I thought that was a really cool way to show a promo package of like, why are these guys wrestling each other? Oh, okay. And then all of a sudden it made sense. I didn't need to know anything more. And I just sat back and enjoyed a good 15-minute match. And seeing Matt Sydal there was pretty cool too. Just on the side.
Yeah, because he's a Ring of Honor like OG too. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I think Jay Lethal, the way he beat Moriarty, I think it was really good because, like, let's face it, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful right now. I'm just trying to like point out the facts here on what's happened on AEW. Moriarty definitely has some wins, but he hasn't captured any championships within AEW. He's been here or there. He's won some matches, he's lost some matches, but he's also been jobbed out a few times. You know what I mean? But for Jay Lethal to go above and beyond, to do whatever necessary to beat Moriarty, really puts him over, I think.
Yeah, I think that helps. Because to me, it's the struggling storyline of Jay Lethal picks up wins on Dark, but when it's the big moment on television, he wasn't getting the job done doing what he was doing. So he turned it up a little bit. And I like this too, because if you remember where Jay Lethal was towards the end of Ring of Honor, they were trying to transition Jay Lethal out of the main event scene. They were kind of trying to. I'm trying to think of somebody who's been in it for a while, and they try to put kind of like how Randy Orton is in WWE right now. You can always put him back in there, but they're kind of like, okay, let's let some other people get some shine here for a second. And I think that's where Jay Lethal was towards the end. Like, he was wearing singlets. They just weren't having him out there just putting in the main event matches. He was kind of out there just doing middle of the card stuff. Now Jay Lethal's back to, oh no, I need to be on top, and it's fresh again, and I like that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely, I love it too. And I gotta talk about a comedy moment here that I thought was absolutely ridiculous, but it worked in the most strangest ways, because that's the whole thing about wrestling, is getting something over that you can get anything over. Like, Chris Jericho can get the word "it" over. So if you can get that over, you can get anything over. But I had no idea that there was a wrestler named Cheeseburger.
Oh my god, dude, I love Cheeseburger.
Oh, he was good. Oh, he from what I saw, I mean, he got his ass kicked within 2 minutes from Tully Blanchard's new tag team. But from what I saw, I was like, yeah, this guy's good. I was like, but his name, I just died to the name. I didn't expect it. I just didn't expect it. I looked at it.
He was in midst of like a gimmick change too, though. Like towards the end of Ring of Honor. So before he was like a babyface, and he was just this little dude named Cheeseburger, which I think they said because they told him he needed to eat a cheeseburger, and he just ran with it. And then he became the original or the world famous CB, and they were kind of trying to give him more of a serious gimmick.
Okay.
And he learned some things from like Liger. Like Liger taught him the palm strike that he always used to do. And he had some good stuff in here, but I knew as soon as I saw him, and I'm a big fan of Eli Isom too. Both those guys, I'm hoping we see them again. I'm hoping, but I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of this. But Cheeseburger is awesome. And if you ever go to a show where he's wrestling, there will be Cheeseburger chants for him. Guaranteed.
I love it. I'll give him one myself. I'll just throwing cheeseburgers in the ring. There you go. And then the other laugh I had on the pre-show, and I never knew this character existed, and he was very charismatic. You probably know who I'm going towards right now, and that is the Peacock Dalton Castle. I absolutely laughed my ass off that this guy comes out with these 4 other guys who are called baby chicks or chickens or something rather, and they're eating this invisible birdseed out of his hand, and this guy is like charismatic all hell. He kind of reminded me of Joey Janela in a way, but he just was full of charisma, and I was like, all right, this guy's full of charisma. He's got this character. All right. It's absolutely hilarious, but all right. And then he faces Joe Hendry, and he was a fantastic wrestler. I was like, yeah, this guy's good. This was good. I think it was the longest match on the pre-show, and I was in. I was like, yeah, this guy can wrestle. I like what it was, and the audience loved him. And I don't know how long he's been around for, but he made an impression, and a good one at that.
Dalton Castle's a former Ring of Honor world champion.
Yes, I believe they mentioned that on commentary, didn't they?
Yeah. One of the issues was, I don't know if you noticed the back brace he was wearing. He must have had some type of back injury. I remember that's what took the title off of him. But Dalton Castle was absolutely amazing. I think the injury bug bit him at a horrible time, and he has never really been able to recover from it. Joe Hendry is also amazing too. He's another charismatic person. That's why I was like, he's got to be talking about one of these two when you were describing it. But
I just couldn't get over the 4 little chick things dancing around him and then clapping really, really, like, eccentric.
Yes.
It was just absolutely hilarious. It killed me. I did not expect it. Didn't see it coming. Wasn't even thinking it was on the radar. And here comes Dalton Castle.
he used to have 2 specific gentlemen with him. He used to call them his boys, but I think they're in. I've seen them on like AEW Dark and stuff now. Like they're trying to get out there and get their names known. I've seen them as like security at WWE, like, when they need the security guys in the ring. So they're out there. They're twins though, but they're really good too.
That's cool. One match I definitely want to shout out too is, now I voted for Minoru Suzuki to win the World Television Championship, but I didn't think he would, but I wouldn't dare bet against Minoru Suzuki because it's Minoru Suzuki.
Hands will be given.
I really did. I was like, well, Minoru Suzuki's from New Japan, so why would he get the Ring of Honor World Television Championship unless he's going to be on Strong for a while, over in the U.S. And I was like, well, I'm going to pick him anyway because it's Minoru Suzuki. I wouldn't dare bet against him. And then he won. And I was like, holy shit, he won in 6 minutes.
See, I did the wrong thing here.
Did you vote against Minoru Suzuki?
I did, sadly. I'm probably owed a Gotch-style pile driver, but I thought Red Titus had to keep it. Like, he was the Ring of Honor guy.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was just, but I couldn't. I had to just pick it. I was like, this Rhett Titus person will probably win. I didn't even actually know who he was either, but I was like, yeah, he'll probably win because he's the champion. Minoru Suzuki is there to get some ratings and get some buy-ins and stuff like that. And no, lo and behold, Minoru Suzuki gets the title. So this might be our last chat in the podcast because you might not be alive next time.
You know who did it if it happened.
Oh shoot, but I love seeing Minoru Suzuki every single time, and now I've seen him steady now for a good 4 years, and quite the character. Like, he's an absolute badass. He's this small little dude that'll absolutely wreck your day.
That's the best part about him. Just seeing him put beatdowns on people. That's why people love Suzuki.
Yeah, and I just love how he laughs when he gets hit, and he's just like, oh, he's awesome. He's an awesome character. He's one of my favorites from New Japan, and now that he's in Ring of Honor, and he circles around AEW. You know, he was. I think he had an appearance in Impact not too long ago. I'm trying to remember. I think I can't remember, but he's been around a lot of U.S. promotions lately, which is really good. I get to see him more often, and I can't not mention, because I have to include this, is Mercedes Martinez defeating Willow Nightingale by submission. Now, I actually thought Willow Nightingale would win, just because more Ring of Honor stuff there. Mercedes Martinez is tied to AEW, but no, she became the interim Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. So we're gonna figure out what goes on there. But now, you told me that you watched a little bit of Impact, right?
Yes.
Now, has Deonna Purrazzo defended that yet?
Yeah, so she does her champ weekly challenge on Impact, and someone will come out. Sometimes it's a current person on the roster, sometimes it's not, and she says, pick which belt you want to challenge for. She lets the person choose, and then she has a match with them. It usually goes pretty badly for them, and that's the end of it. But right now, and she wrestled Mercedes Martinez previously, so that's going to be interesting. But I thought Willow was going to be in this one as well, but things took an interesting turn, in my opinion. So Taya Valkyrie came back on the Impact show.
I read that.
Spoiler alert if anyone didn't know by now. But Taya Valkyrie came back, so that's going to make it interesting. And I feel like she's going to challenge for the AAA Reina da Reina Championship. And we're going to also have Mercedes Martinez, who picked up the win over Willow. I wanted Willow to win this so badly, too. I just like Willow's personality, kind of like what she shows in the ring. It just works so well for her. And Mercedes Martinez is a vet in the game, though, so she gets the victory. I'm just not a fan of the interim championship thing that, like, Tony Khan likes to do. It's very UFC, and I'm like, dude, just say number one contenders. It'd be so much easier to say number one contender match. The stakes are still there, you know? Instead of handing someone a championship, now there's two out there in the world, you know?
Oh, I agree, but people like shiny things.
This is true. This is true. I get his reasoning for doing it. I'm just not a fan of it. I wouldn't.
I get you. I could totally see where you're coming from. But people are like, oh, that's shiny. That's a nice championship. Where's that come from?
Right. And I think he feels like it feels better if you gave the people a championship match. But I think it was impossible for what they wanted to do that night. Like, Taya's coming back. We can't do this on this part of the show and then have her try to rush over there like the Briscoes were doing. I think it just didn't work because Deonna Purrazzo is kind of their MVP right now in Impact, in my opinion. She's up there as like one of the top 3 acts they have. Oh,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo is incredible. I do have to shout out Taya Valkyrie, though, because I don't live her life, and as long as she's happy and as long as she's good, that's all that matters. But my gosh, I told everybody when Frankie Monet was coming into NXT, when Taya Valkyrie left Impact, I think a year ago, and then she waltzed her way into NXT, and I was like, guys, you know, this is Taya Valkyrie. She's really good. This Frankie Monet thing, I know it's just a name change, but she's really good. She's going to show her how good she is in the ring. And then all of a sudden now she's back in Impact. And they barely really used her at all, and it felt like they hardly did anything with her in NXT, and I felt like, from my point of view, I feel like a total waste of time. The only thing as a learning experience is to never go back to NXT again.
I think it was just what they wanted at the time. Like, sometimes she was older, and they probably told her it was her age, and I don't think she's even that old, honestly. It was just kind of, they're looking for that younger superstar. They want someone who's like 21 who they can mold into what they want to be long term, so then they can wait 20 years for someone else. You know what I mean? The business is cyclical. Like, it's just going to go in these cycles over and over again until they find who they want.
So that's what it means then. I now understand it. So NXT has this new phrase now. Before it was like, it's like that. And now it's as close as it gets. That must be age. That's what that means. Like, me and my partner were trying to figure that out forever. We were like, it's all right. It's as close as it gets. As close as it gets to what? Me not watching you anymore? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, NXT's taking a turn for the worse in my opinion. A little bit. Like I'm way more disinterested in it than I was before. But it's not to say that it's bad. Like I watched the Takeover Stand and Deliver, and there's a bunch of guys that I like. But when I watch the weekly shows, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I do not like that. I do not like this either. And it just piles on. And I'm like, yeah, I can't watch this anymore.
I'm the same way. Like I have tried, I truly have. And to those who enjoy it, more power to you. You know what? However you enjoy your wrestling is your wrestling. But I just can't. I've tried so hard to get in. Like NXT was great. I jumped into NXT. I think it was 2015, maybe 2014, just before Finn Balor won the title. I think.
Okay.
I don't know when that year was, but it was pretty back there. You know, oh my gosh, 7-8 years ago now. And then it went into Shinsuke and Samoa Joe and all these other, and Robert Roode had it, and Andrade had it, and I'm trying to think of somebody else who had it. Maybe not, but either way, I got into NXT back in 2014, 2015, and I was a regular watcher. I started tuning into the hour show and keeping up to date, and I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, yeah, this gimmick isn't working for me, but I really enjoyed it. And then over time, things started getting a little bit weird. And then of course the 2-hour show, then to compete with Dynamite, which completely, they got destroyed. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anybody. They got destroyed when it came to Wednesday nights, and then they revamped themselves, like this NXT 2.0 thing. And I really did try to get into it, but they essentially got rid of everybody that I had ever invested in. And then I'm not shitting on any of the wrestlers. I mean, there's some great wrestlers down there. I mean, and then they took some people down from WWE and made them as champion to get some quote unquote ratings. And just like, I love that Keith Lee is in AEW, for example, now. But the reason why they put both championships on him that weekend was to get ratings. Or that week throughout the Great American Bash, they put the North American and the NXT Championship on him. I was like, yeah, this is Keith Lee's time. And slowly but surely he loses both, and then he's not really in WWE much. I mean, thankfully, everything was good with that health scare, but now he seems just really, really happy. But that's just one example of so many. I keep getting burned over and over and over and over and over.
They've taught you that what you see doesn't matter.
Yeah, all the time. And then all of a sudden we get NXT 2.0 and it's like a whole new roster of all new people, or people who have had their name changed, like Gunther, for example. Like, for frick's sakes.
Yeah, now it's Gunther versus Butch.
Yeah, that God.
Classic NXT match.
Yeah, and they toss Pete Dunne to the side. They're not even acknowledging that he's the longest NXT UK champion. Like, they're not even acknowledging anything prior he's ever done in NXT. He's just now Butch, and I'm just like, oh my God, he'll always be Walter to me. But then the constant changes of this and that, like, don't get me wrong, there's some great characters in NXT 2.0, but I can't get into it. But I'll always watch the pay-per-views or the premium live events, whatever WWE wants to call them. And I'm all good talking about Stand and Deliver if you want to.
Yeah, I can.
Cool. I mean, one of my I think I have to say, despite it being the first match of the card, it was a hard match not to triumph against, and I think the ladder match was my favorite.
Yeah, the ladder match was really good. I had some fears during parts of it, like Grayson Waller's elbow drop.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. That looked
mid-air. I saw that was a bad idea. Like his face went from "this is cool," "this was a bad idea."
Yeah.
Like, instantly, like, I shouldn't have did this.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any reports about an injury.
No, I've only heard that his arm was in a sling, that it was seen.
Because it bent back, like when he landed on that chair and then or landed on that ladder, and he got back up and his arm is all like just not how an arm should look.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, Grayson Waller, oh my Lord. I was like, I hope you're okay. I mean, Cameron Grimes was my guy. I picked him to win, and I'm really glad he got it. Like, Cameron Grimes, again, one of the amazing characters within NXT. I just think he's hilarious. But it was just a great match. I mean, Solo Sikoa, Grayson Waller, I hope you're well. But I mean, you put on a hell of a performance. And then Santo Escobar, you can't go wrong with him. He's a great wrestler.
He was the MVP of that match, in my opinion. He was in every spot that they showed.
Yeah, he was. He was in a lot of them. Yeah, absolutely. And then Carmelo Hayes, of course, the former champion. And I mean, he put on a great performance as well. They all really had great spots. Like I thought, oh man, so it's crazy how much Sikoa looks like Rikishi, like a young Rikishi.
Yeah.
Like it's like I know they're all related, but it's just scary how much he looks like Rikishi, you know?
Yeah, that family's like work ethic and drive when it comes to pro wrestling is absolutely amazing. I was hoping he was going to be able to pull the spot off where he had the two guys on his back, but I think he bailed at the last second. Like, yeah, this ain't going to work. He didn't want to risk getting injured with that, so good on him.
Yeah, and I have to shout out another match too. I have to say that the triple threat tag team match, while it was only 10 minutes, I thought it was an entertaining 10 minutes. They could have had 5 more, in my opinion, but I thought it was damn good. And I picked MSK winning. A lot of people thought the Creed brothers would finally get the championships, but no, MSK defeated Imperium. What did you think of that match?
So this was weird because when I was going through it in my head, I said it's got to be the Creed brothers or Imperium. Like MSK was the out. Like I was like, yeah, there's no way they win. So they were thrown out instantly in my mind, and I was going back and forth. I picked the Creed brothers only because they have one of the brightest minds in the business. My boy, Malcolm Bivens, coming out there dressed like Cameron in the all pink with the pink do-rag. I was absolutely happy about that.
He's pretty good, isn't he, Malcolm Bivens? He's pretty good.
Yeah, no, he's a great manager. Like sometimes I wonder if the jokes are over other people's heads because of some of his jokes are like I understand them, so I'm like, are these dated or what? But Malcolm Bivens is pure hilarity. I absolutely love him playing just that cheesy heel, and he's like always talking to people, just being a slime ball. Like that's what a heel manager's supposed to do, and I absolutely love what he does. I was shocked when MSK won. Like my jaw hit the floor. By the way, for predictions for this, I did a preview show for this, and my predictions were terrible for this show. I think this was the one show where I went like 2-6.
I think it was 4 out of 7.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I got 3 of these matches right, and the rest I got wrong. So
I can actually tell you in a second if I look this up. Breaking the fourth wall, looking things up. Oh no. But before I let you know, I got to shout out my second favorite match of the night though, and it was not the tag team match. While it was good, that triple threat tag team match, and what I have to say about NXT Stand and Deliver was what I really appreciated and respected about it was that there was a little bit of something for everybody. There were singles matches that were just singles matches. There were singles matches that were blowing off important feuds. We had the singles match for the NXT Championship. We had a fatal 4-way for the Women's Championship. We had a ladder match for the fatal 5-way for the NXT North American Championship. And then that triple threat. And then we had the tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. So there was definitely a mixed up there was something in that pay-per-view for everyone.
No lie.
What was it now? No, I got 6. No, I was right. 4 to 7. Yeah, I got 6 on Ring of Honor. That's what it was. I have a little prediction list with a few friends, and I got 6 out of 8 on Ring of Honor, and something that I never really knew much about. So yay, go me.
Boo! No, I'm kidding. We're just rubbing in the salt in the wounds.
Yeah, rubbing it in. But yeah, I got 4 to 7 on NXT. Because a couple of outcomes really surprised me. But my second favorite match on that card, though, was the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Women's Championship. I thought that was really, really enjoyable. I did not expect Mandy Rose to retain. That was one of the ones I got wrong.
See? And that's one of the ones I got right.
Yeah, so there you go. See? Well, nicely done. And I really just thought it was Cora Jade's time. Like, I was like, Kaylee Ray, I mean, she's good and all. I know she's former NXT UK champion, but I'm just like, I don't think it's her time. I think Io Shirai is kind of coming up to the main roster soon. And so I was like, it's either between Mandy Rose or Cora Jade. And I was like, well, they seem to be pushing Cora Jade a little bit. So I was just like, maybe they will. I don't know. But she didn't. Mandy Rose retained, and Mandy Rose has held that NXT championship for quite some time now. And in my opinion, while I do like Mandy Rose's whole new gimmick and Toxic Attraction, I think it's really good. I think it's a good stable. I don't think keeping the title on Mandy Rose this long has benefited anybody because you're supposed to be building up new stars, not taking stars from on the main shows and giving them belts for months on end and then having them go through the very roster that you're trying to build up.
See, I disagree with that point. I think that Mandy Rose needed to be tuned up a little bit. She was on the main roster, but I don't think she had the wrestling skills that she does now, and I think NXT has helped her improve.
Yeah, the wrestling skills, I can say that for sure. But back when she was just like that heel Mandy Rose, just before she was with Sonya, she had
Mandy.
Yeah, exactly. And then the like all this like the gold came on, all this stuff, and
the saxophone was my favorite part.
Yeah, I really thought that she was ready. I was like, this woman is a future women's champion. Like there's no doubt in my mind this woman is going to be champion soon. And she wasn't. Then her and Sonya had that split. And then we had her and Otis, which I really loved. I thought her and Otis was fantastic. And then that got taken away from us. And I was like, bitches, I just invested in you again. Like, mess off.
Telling you don't care about our storylines. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's why I can't, like, when I watch WWE now, and it's no I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I can't invest in anything anymore. Even with Cody's return to AEW, which was incredible, or to WWE, which was incredible, from AEW to WWE, I can't invest in shit. I can't, because if I do, I'm terrified that I'm just gonna be let down again. And I've been getting let down now for a good 10 years. Like before, it was just like, oh yeah, whatever. But then when I go to other promotions and I'm rewarded for long stories, years on end, and incredible wrestling, I'm just like, I'm watching all these different promotions, and you're not doing what they do. And fair enough, WWE does what they want to do, and if that's people's wrestling, that's your wrestling. But I just couldn't, and on Raw, for example, I mean, the NXT Championship, we had Dolph Ziggler defeat Braun Breaker on the Stand and Deliver, which was a really good match, I think. And Dolph Ziggler having the championship was just bizarre out of nowhere for me, in my opinion. But then on Raw, here comes Braun Breaker, and they essentially have the same match. It's just a little bit shorter that they had on the pay-per-view, but Braun Breaker won it back. So now that people thought they were going to tune into Tuesday to see Dolph Ziggler have his little celebration, nope, it's back on Braun Breaker.
Just, I don't know, man. I have a miniature rant to go on, and I guess it goes back to what you were just saying. There's a lot of people on this card that I'm like, yo, it's time to call them up. It's time to, I almost said a bad phrase here. I'm trying to think of something better that I could use. I can't think of anything better. I may have to say it.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Shit or get off the pot with some of these people, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm looking right now. So Dakota and Raquel, okay. Toxic Attraction needs to stay down there for now. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Cameron Grimes becoming a champion's cool. Carmelo Hayes, possibly you could call him up. I would wait until the summertime for some of them, like him and Braun Breaker. But Tommaso Ciampa, first name I see. It's time. It's time. What do you want to do with this guy? He can't stay down here forever. Like, yeah, I love Tommaso Ciampa, but he's done everything. It's either let him come up or figure out what you want to do with him. You look at who else? You could argue with Imperium and Gunther, the same thing. Like, Walter's been down there long enough, dude. Like, what do you want to do? He's either got it or he doesn't to you. And I think that they may want to make him the world champ, like the next guy who they're going to focus on very tightly. And whatever, that looks fine. And he was in good shape in this match. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
He leaned out a lot. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Io Shirai, you brought Io. Call Io up. She's been down there too for a long time. Like, her title reign was so long ago, and we thought she was getting called up after that ended. What are we waiting for?
Probably for Asuka to return.
There's nothing else here. LA Knight. LA Knight should be someone who they insert into the main event picture instantly. The guy can talk. He can wrestle. Dummy. He can do whatever. Like, he can do it all, man. And use this guy. Like, he's not getting any younger staying in NXT. Who is this benefiting?
Yeah, LA Knight is fantastic. He's one of my favorites in the NXT roster. He really is. And I think he's incredible. He's got all the he's got all the charisma. He's got all the wrestling ability. And as long as they just, I know WWE is a very scripted place, but LA Knight can make it work, and I think he would be a star on the main shows. I really, really do. I don't think he'd get lost in the shuffle at all, as long as they didn't forget about him and booked him well. I think the audience would be like, we want LA Knight back. We want LA Knight on TV. We want LA Knight champion, and
dude, their roster, I'm sorry to say this, and WrestleMania was far better than most expectations, especially night one.
Yeah.
But when you look at WrestleMania as a whole, that card was very lackluster. There were a lot of names on there that my friends showed up and they were like, they don't watch wrestling all the time. They're like, yo, who is this? And I'm like, oh, this is Rick Boogs. And I'm trying to explain stuff to people and they're just kind of like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? They're waiting to hear, why is this person a big deal? And it's not lining up. Bring these guys up, give them some purpose. We had celebrities dominate like half the matches on night 2. Like,
that's all WWE is now, is just getting popular people to come into their shows, or popular athletes. That's what they are now. They're not looking for indie wrestlers. They're looking for popularity, which is sad, unfortunately.
I think you could have built a better card with the talent that you have as a company as a whole.
Oh, I do too. I mean, for instance, I bitched about this on the previous podcast about how we had 4 hours of a pre-show. Like 2 hours each day of just nothing but advertisements and gabbing and promotional videos. And then a good chunk of it, I think an hour of Mania was just promotional videos alone. And your mid-card titles, where was your United States champion? Where was your Intercontinental champion? How can you leave those belts off the grandest stage of them all? Pull a ladder match like you did on Stand&Deliver, throw the belt up, do something, do a backstage segment between Ricochet and I think it's Finn Balor who has it. Like do something, anything, just acknowledge that these championships matter, but you didn't. And
they had the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And that was a joke. I don't know if you got that reference, but they said that in like the nameplate after Madcap Moss won it on the pre-show, and I was like, the Andrew the Giant. What is that, bro?
Yeah.
Spell check.
Well, I mean, I found out recently that Andrew actually means strong and manly, so it works.
All right.
That's what it means. I looked it up the other night because I was looking at my name and I was looking up some other names from people I know, and I was like, oh, okay, that means strong and manly. All right, I guess that statue that they won, or the thing that they won, the cup, or whatever you want to call it, I guess it means that they're strong and manly. Madcap Moss is now strong and manly. But my man, it has been quite a good 45 minutes, an hour to chatting wrestling here, and we're gonna wrap things up here. But what was your favorite match on the card on NXT Stand&Deliver?
Oh, that's a tough one. Because looking back at it, I don't know if I had a particular favorite. The main thing I took away from the show was there's a lot of stars, and they were sprinkled in a bunch of different matches. Like, I love Tony D'Angelo. I love Cameron Grimes. I like Braun Breaker a lot. They're trying to do something with Toxic Attraction as a whole. LA Knight is someone who I think they should call up immediately. Gunther, they're still trying to keep him strong, but mold them in their WWE way. Even though I don't like that way, but they're still trying to do something with him. Big fan of Waller. He's another person that I see a lot of potential in, and Tony D'Angelo. But if I had to choose, I think I'm going to go with the ladder match is always fun, so I think that's my pick.
Yeah, I mentioned that mine too, and I just have to put this here for a little side note. I didn't realize this. I had forgotten. Because it was so long as well. But so I mentioned that Pete Dunne was the longest reigning NXT United Kingdom champion earlier, but it's actually Walter.
Yes, Walter did break that record.
Yeah, but then they changed his name as well. So they just took that 870 days and just tossed it out, just gone, just tossed it out. And as for calling people up, I just want to shout out to Tommaso Ciampa, because as what you mentioned, we were calling people up, like, why are they still down there? What do you think about Tommaso Ciampa joining Edge and Damian Priest?
I could see it. I feel like that spot should be for Rhea Ripley as well.
Well, they could have 4 of them.
Yeah. So maybe if you have both of them join, I'd be down with that. I'm trying to figure out what this Edge thing is. Like, I don't know why the need for Edge to change his character needed to happen, but
maybe
we'll see.
Maybe he felt like it.
Maybe, but to me, the jury's still out on that one, so I'm not ready to make my final decision. Like, I hate it, I love it. I'm kind of in the middle right now. I'm like, let's see where they're going with this first.
Yeah, it's fair. You gotta tiptoe around WWE when they introduce something new. It's just like, not sure. Maybe. No.
As you mentioned, though, I'm over the whole let's let it play out. You can't say that for everything, so I'm just like, if I'm not intrigued, I'm out.
Yeah, like, all the glory days of Raw Underground.
Yeah.
That actually was a thing. All right, man. Well, we'll wrap things up there. Thanks to everyone who continues to listen to the podcast. If you want to hear your voice in here and rant about wrestling like the rest of us do, then simply send me a PM on any of my social media. And before I pimp mine out, what is yours, my friend?
You guys can follow me on all social media platforms at EPW Show. We just started a TikTok recently, so if you guys want to head on over, give me a follow on there. Most active on Twitter, so give us a follow on there. And YouTube channel is Everything Pro Wrestling, and Everything Pro Wrestling is also on Facebook, and we have a Facebook group called the Everything Pro Wrestling Group.
Perfect, man. Perfect, thank you. And you can find all of our socials at SoundCloud under Lotus Moon Productions, Facebook under Lotus Moon Productions, Twitter under Lotus Moon Prod, Lotus M Productions on Instagram for the music side of things, and you can search us on YouTube under Lotus Moon Productions. With that, this has been LMP with Wrastlin Wrantz. Please be kind to one another, take care, and we're signing off.